Let me shift gears radically here and come to some questions that may seem out of what we've been talking about. One reason for beginning this series originally was to focus on the effects of Brown versus Board of Education 1954. So I want to ask a couple of quick questions just about that before we wrap up. Do you have a conscious memory of family discussion about the Supreme Court ruling?
Yeah.
What was it?
And, I was in college at the time, and so it was clearly very significant. It happened when I was home. It was during the summer.
Yes, May of '54.
So I was already home for the summer, and my father was deceased, but my mother was again. There she is, 5'3". We won another one. I told you that Thurgood Marshall was a good man, and and you remember. I mean, my mother was in there all the time, slugging it out, right? And so this was just another victory for the home team. And now we got a whole bunch more games to play in, but this one we won, and what a difference it's gonna make in the South, and what a difference it's gonna make, and it has. I mean, I think that the South has made enormous strides because of that Supreme Court decision, much more so than in many urban areas. Right?
Now, do you remember, were you and your mother optimistic foolishly about what the results would be? That is, did you think it would mean more than it has turned out to mean?
I think at the time it did, at least in my case. Yeah, I envisioned, the people going to be meeting in the streets, and I didn't think it was going to end overnight, but I thought in 10 years, go anywhere, do anything, opportunities are okay, the rules are going to change, everybody's going to love everybody. A little Pollyanna, if you will, in terms of what was the real world. But again, in 1954, I was still in college. I graduated, so I was 18 years old.
But looking back over the nearly 50 years since then, how do you think it's affected you?
Well, my father dreamed of owning a candy store, right? I dreamed of owning candy manufacturing companies, right? My father dreamed of owning real estate. I dream of owning a city block. And so those are the levels of change, and if you ask my sons what they're going to do, I mean, I hold my breath, because what they see is their vision for what they'd like to do, and I see them as my partners, as young men that their mother and I love very much, but their goals and their aspirations are set high, but I wouldn't have it any other way. That's the way it was with me, and I want them to think the same way.